alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is your brother in Islam and your brother in humanity, Brother Charles Shabazz of Shabazz Islamic Ministries. Subject I like to bring up is a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship allowed in Islam? Right. First of all, let's look at the words boyfriend and girlfriend in the particular context. As far as having friends in general who happen to be of the opposite gender, in general, there's nothing really wrong with that. But as far as intimate sexual relationships are concerned, outside of nikah or marriage, then that's a different story. First of all, let's look at the ayah from the Quran and the hadith from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Let's look at one from each of those sources. So the Quran says to not come near zina. I believe I shared zina before on some of my videos. Basically, and I'll repeat again if I did mention it. Zina specifically in Arabic means illicit sexual relationships outside of marriage between a man and a woman. That's what zina means. So you have various sexual activities that can come under the form of zina: adultery, fornication, LGBTQ relationships, etc. Right? Those are all considered zina. And I know some of you may wonder, well, what if among the LGBT couples, the lesbian gay couples, what if they're married? That is still considered zina. Because again, marriage is between a man and a woman. Natural man and a natural woman. But that's what zina means. Not to go near it, not to approach it or put yourself in a position where zina can possibly happen, right? Also, in the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that anytime when you have a non-muharram male and female alone with one another, Shaitan is the third. Shaitan is the third. So you have to look at both sources, to use the judgment of how does boyfriend-girlfriend relationships work in Islam. Now, let's say the male and female, the man and the woman, let's say they're interested in getting married, right? They're interested in each other, right? First of all, they're encouraged to learn about each other. They're encouraged to get to know each other. There was a man during the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was interested in this woman, and he shared this with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked him, "Have you seen this woman?" He said, "You need to go see her." So there is an encouragement in Islam of getting to know one another. Now, how do you go about doing that in respect to the Quranic ayat and the other hadith that I have just shared with you? How do you go about doing that? Well, there's several ways that can be done. Of course, talking on the telephone is one thing. Another thing, especially if you want to see each other physically, right? You can like visit each other's home as long as like the family is present. Let's say the parents of the girl, her parents may want to prep a meal and invite a potential brother and probably his parents to come over and have dinner, and give them some time to, talk to each other, talk to one another, that you can do it that way. Now, let's say, the brother and sister, let's say both of them want to go to the movies. They want to go out to dinner. Well, if that's the case, then it's highly recommended to have a third party accompany them, like a chaperone. Have a chaperone accompany them to these places, right? But this is because these mechanisms respect and enforce these two things. Now, you may ask, well, what if we plan on going somewhere and none of the chaperones are available? And especially if we're going to this place at a particular time, what do we do then? Just cancel the date? Maybe that's the best thing to do, is to cancel it, especially if you have an emergency problem where you or her or both of you don't know how to keep your hormones under control. It's best for you to cancel the date. Other than that, if you're gonna go somewhere, then you should meet each other in separate vehicles and then go back and leave the place separately. Do I highly recommend this? Not particularly, but it's still not necessarily a bad idea. But there is a negative side to that. You know how that goes. Even if you drive in separate vehicles, especially, you could have her follow you or you follow her to her place or your place, especially if you're by yourself, and you know how that goes. I don't have to go there. So that's probably not the best thing to do, right? The best thing to do if you're going to go anywhere is to be accompanied with a chaperone. But other than that, there's, of course, you have to get to know one another. You have to talk to each other. You have to communicate, what you want out of life and what you want out of this marriage. And if you agree with each other, then you should, if you accept the engagement, the proposal, mainly usually the brother would propose to the sister. And if she agrees and accepts, then there you go. Now, who are the third party? Who are the chaperones that you may ask? Usually the Wali would be the chaperones, family members and whatnot. Now, what's the role of the Wali? First of all, the Wali is to look after the sister's interests. And this is a requirement with the sister. Why is that? Why is that? First of all, let's take a look at reality. Let's look at real life situations, especially here in America and the West in general, or the world in general. You know, you have high number of cases, excuse me. Alhamdulillah. You have high cases of what you call date rapes in America, right? I think it's similar in Canada, UK, etc. When, you know, the man invites the girl to his home, you know, then he wants to impose himself on her. Then she wants to leave. You know, if she's fortunate, she would escape, but she would be hurt. She would be injured. And there are even some cases where even the girl was killed as a result of date rape, right? So the best solution for that is to have someone there with her. You know, have a Wali or somebody. That would kill and significantly reduce date rapes, right? And that would, you know, nip things in the bud, especially find out the young man is a real pain in the backside, you know, and even vice versa. You know, it's not always on the man. Sometimes the sister can be a pain in the butt too. You know, if the sister is acting, you know, un-Islamically, and I'm saying this in a pleasant sense, the Wali should tell her, you know, you don't need to be out here talking. You need to work on yourself. I mean, if I was a Wali and I saw this sister was not of the best character, I would tell her, this is exactly what I tell her. I'm like, you're not ready to marry these brothers. Especially if I know there's a good brother out there, I would tell the brother, you don't need to be with this sister. This sister's not the best person. You know, sometimes we could be a Wali to a brother too, even though usually it's not recommended. Now there's a real controversial topic as to regarding Wali. Now, many scholars believe that the Wali has complete autonomy over the decisions on behalf of the sister, the proposal and everything. All right. Now, there's two groups of scholars. There's like two groups of Walis, I should say. You have the Wali Musarak and the Wali Mujdib, or however you pronounce the Wali Mujdib. These are Walis that have total, complete autonomy over every decision on behalf of the sister, especially when it comes to the proposal, the acceptance of marriage. If the sister accepts the marriage of the brother and the Wali vetoes it, then the veto from that Wali counts. Then with the Wali Musarak, now the only group of women that these walis have complete autonomy over are the women who had never been married before, but the women who were already married and had divorced, or who were widowed, those sisters, they have a wali, but when it comes to the proposal, the marriage, the acceptance of marriage, it's basically totally up to the sister, and there's really nothing the wali can do about it. Now, in the Hanafi madhab, in that madhab, yes, you do have a wali, but even if she's never been married before, the sister has total, complete autonomy of accepting the marriage or not. And in some cases, pride don't even have a wali. But those are the legal ways of how it works when you involve a wali in nikah, and how a nikah works in Islam. But that's pretty much all I have to say. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Assalamu alaikum. Peace to everyone else.